We do it with all due respect. This is our time, you know.
With all due respect, 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 with all due respect.
What's going on, y'all? We are the With All Due Respect podcast. I'm your main man, Mo, and this here to my left is
Lady Simone.
How y'all doing today, man?
Hello.
If y'all may have saw, we were just on Facebook Live a little while ago. By the time this video come out, it'll be 2 days later. But we was on Facebook Live just actually lightly explaining, I guess you would say, our absence from dropping episodes. The last one we dropped was Mr. Avery and his wife when we was talking about
Step parents. Yes, the
importance
importance of step parents. That's right.
We're actually looking to do a part 2 with that.
Absolutely. We need to do a part 2.
Right, because Avery is he's a young step pops. I think Avery is 24. So we actually wanted to sit down with an older, a lot more seasoned, and get their point of view as well. So nonetheless, we're back.
And not only that, it would be good to get a female's perspective on that subject
I
too.
agree
So
as well.
it's so many different outlooks we can get from that.
Yes.
So that's another thing. So definitely a part 2 will come from that.
But in a nutshell, we're back.
We are back, everybody. We're
not
back.
gonna leave y'all, man. This is where our heart's at. We
Yes.
enjoy talking. Hopefully we can help somebody along with helping ourselves through conversation.
Yes.
Because that's what we like to pride ourselves on here With All Due Respect podcast is transparency through conversation.
Absolutely. So, and not only that, like we hit y'all with the motivational 3 every Monday, Wednesdays,
out
and
Lloyd.
Fridays. Shout out to Lloyd for hitting us on Wednesdays, and be easy. And one thing that we like to say and that we look forward to is actually having these conversations with you guys, because not only are they uplifting you guys and taking y'all to a new level, but it's so funny how you can have conversation and it's like you're speaking to yourself, and sometimes you have to hear that and you don't even understand and realize when you're saying it that that's what you're actually doing. So it's so important for us to continue to communicate and speak life into our own situations, as well as trying to speak life into everybody else
And
as
it's
well.
typical, you actually get a better understanding of things when you say things out loud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I actually learn a lot while I'm doing the motivational 3 or even holding conversation with any and everybody. I get answers that I'm looking for within it, and I actually get inspired by my own words, not knowing, because in a lot of cases, I don't know where this information comes from.
Yeah.
It's just as if it comes out, and even at times I'll sit back and be like, whoa.
But then you look at it though, it's powerful, because when you think about it, right, the way that everything is going now is through text messages. Communication is kind of getting lost, and just conversation is getting lost.
Absolutely.
Like we sit down and we hold conversations for hours at home.
Every
we
time
sit
I
down
come in from work,
and we're
if y'all
talking.
can actually see or hear rather the conversation me and Lady Simone have when I come in from work, that'll leave us up till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Just talking.
Just
And that right
talking.
there shows that if you have more and more of these conversations, there's more and more change and more just different things that can happen. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even conversation with your kids. We constantly talk to our kids to the point where my son asked me a question yesterday. I walked in the house on the phone. I was helping a young man out, just on a conversation with a younger gentleman. And Malik was like, "Dad, is it rude for a man to walk in the house on the phone and not say anything?" I said, "Well, son, that's a good question. Depending on what room the individual walk into, and also depending on the individual and also the content of the song. The content of the actual conversation."
And I'll say this too. I want to add to that, because I was in a grocery store. I went down home a little while, and I was talking to my sister on the phone, and I actually told her, I was like, "Hey, let me call you back," because I was at the register.
Right.
And I thought it was, and like I told the lady, it was an older lady, and she really respected what I did, because I told her, I said, I apologize. I wanted to hang up because I wanted to give you my attention, because I think it's so rude to be on the phone and she's trying to render her services but can't do that because I'm holding a conversation on the phone. So I think it's the small things that we have to look at, because even just being right there talking to her for that short period of time, I could have did something or said something that could have changed her day. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
put a
agree.
smile
I
on
do
her
the
face.
same thing. I actually take one of my earbuds out. I don't take both out. I do stop the music or whatever it is that I'm listening to, and I'll put one up there so they can actually see that, no, you do have my attention.
Exactly.
And I think it's very much appreciated. Just like when you're speaking to someone, looking them in the eye and talking, versus looking down or looking around.
Let people know you're engaged and you're paying attention, and that's very important, especially when you're communicating and conversating. You know, it's important for people to feel special, you know? Everybody look for that.
Everyone wants to be wanted.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be a part of something as well.
Yes.
You know, so I actually wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what I spoke about on the Motivational 3 on last Monday.
I'm glad you said something, because I had actually wanted to ask you about that, you know, and you mentioned about the whole thing with the Mopies and how you had someone, you know, that mentioned about having opinion about what you're doing, and that's, you know, so how do you combat that? Because, you know, we're doing a variety of things, and to some people it may seem like too much. To some people it may seem like, okay, they got their hands in too many things. How do you come back and say, you know what, this is my vision, this is how I see it, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move forward regardless. So
you know what, and it's the irony of that is I read a post right before we got here today, and it said, you do not have to explain your vision to anyone that's not incorporated. It's pointless.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that I respect the individual and I enjoy conversation, I enjoy the back and forth, which you can always learn. Maybe you're missing something because you're actually engulfed in it.
Yeah.
So when you're engulfed in it, you're emotionally attached to this thing, so you may you know
sometimes you don't, when you're in it, you don't see
Absolutely.
What other people can see, you know, so sometimes you do, you know, what I always say, I respect, you know, what somebody would say looking from the outside in, but then respectively also, you're not inside dealing with what I deal with, so you're, what you're saying,
you're not invested.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? So if someone has an opinion about something, I would actually, you know, think about it, look into it, but then respectively, I have to also make my decision based off of me living in this right here. Because a lot of things, you know, if you look at it, there's a lot of people who look from the outside in, and when people look like that, we make crazy assumptions.
Right, we really do.
You know, and it's not fair.
It really do.
It's not fair.
You're absolutely right. And as far as the pie, a gentleman came up to me and actually said, you know, I think the name Mopi isn't marketable. I actually spoke to some of my friends who are in that type of business, who are actually in, I guess you were just in marketing itself, and he said that that's not a marketable thing. He said that the pie name is not marketable, nor the way that's being distributed. And I said, really? I said, okay. So this is right here. The individual said this without even asking me, what's the plan? What's going on?
Or even the backstory. Did they actually backstory?
It kills me when someone just offers their opinion, but the best thing to do is ask the individual first. So let me ask you a question. You got a pie right here. What run that about? And if you don't mind sharing, what's your plans for it? And then at that point, we can start crossing some T's and dotting some I's, but just to come out off the bat, and you're just on the outside looking in saying that it's not marketable. So at that point, I said, all right, I'm going to hear you out. Because like I said, I respected the individual. I respect the individual. So I said, all right. I looked at their personal resume, what they have going on, versus what I have going on. So we got somebody that's driving a Buick, and we got somebody that's about to get a Beamer. Like you have no.
But you know what? Oh, this is so crazy because I had to pause right there because I'm in a venture capitalist class right now, and it's so crazy how everything in your life can kind of go full circle without you even knowing. So it was a discussion. Shout out to Brad Keaton. Oh my goodness.
We're going to talk about that as well. That experience that we had with Brad Keaton. We had an experience collectively, and I've also had an experience myself because Lady Simone was in Myrtle Beach. But go ahead, continue.
But one thing that I wanted to say too that I realized with the venture capitalist class was we had a discussion and we were talking and they were saying, you know, how entrepreneurs have to pick the right venture capitalists to invest in and how venture capitalists pick entrepreneurs to invest in. And pretty much venture capitalists is the people who actually give them money to help them, you know, take their business to the next level, or, you know, that they find businesses just to attach to it so that they can, you know, and what's so crazy about that is like how you say, you have to look at that person's pretty much profile and see what they're about.
What makes you qualified?
Exactly. And a lot of times what even came crazy in the class was a lot of times we think for entrepreneurs, you know, the venture capitalist is the person looking for us, but also entrepreneurs have a duty to actually look into who's actually invested in them. And that makes, that's important.
You want to be mindful who money you're taking.
Is that you have to be mindful whose money you're taking. You have to make sure that they have those credentials.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That they step foot in that path, in that business. Because sometimes if you're over here with CDs and I'm over here with food, you know what I'm saying? How can you market my CD and you used to this?
It has to make sense.
Yes.
It has to be beneficial and make sense.
So I get what you're saying. It's so crazy how it all came,
And it was just a situation where, and whatever my name is attached to, I'm really touchy about it. It's real passionate. It's like another one of my kids. And so at that point, I actually went home and reevaluated it, and I still came up with the same thing. And then speaking of which, I would like to go ahead and shout out Miss Portia Wright for partnering with us with the Mopies. And we actually, little quick, I guess you would say, teaser, we will be releasing a new pie, a new Mopi here shortly.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So we'll touch base with that. We'll touch base with y'all about that at a later date. But nonetheless, we are in the works of something else as well. We're not discontinuing the apple pies or the crumble pie, nothing of that nature. We're just adding something else to it. So again, shout out to Miss Portia Wright at Sweet Bees Cakery.
And I would say too, I wanted to just plug this, Mo. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams. And don't be afraid to partner with people. If your vision is your vision, however it is given to you, that's how you should actually just go forth with it. And I always say that. I know you guys heard me in the Motivational 3, like you guys see this right here with the Hope Jones book. That's how that was given to me. The way that I wrote it, the way that I spoke to you guys in that book, it was given to me just like this, and I had to actually deliver it as such. And I make such a big deal about that because a lot of people would not jump out on their vision, on their dream, because they're worried about what the next person has to say, and that's bothersome. Because you would never know if it will work or not. My thing is, you don't know if it's going to work either way, if you go and do it or if you don't. I'd rather just jump out and
I was having a conversation with a gentleman. I don't know if you want me to disclose his name or not, but I was having a conversation with a gentleman yesterday. I was in the gym, and he was telling me about something that he wanted to invest in. It was a dream of his, and it actually follows his pattern. This is your thing. Mm-hmm. And I said, look here, man. Either way it goes, it's going to be hard. Life is challenging. It's going to be challenging if you go clock in and out at your manufacturing gig. It's going to be challenging whether or not you step out on faith and actually, because you're never going to have enough money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us want to measure what it is that we got. Even myself at times.
That's like people say when you prepare for a child.
Right.
Like you can't prepare for that. Even I tell people, and I'm sorry, Mo, I'm going to let you finish. No. When you prepare for marriage or you get married and it's like, okay, I'm ready to just leave this person. I'm tired of this. And I'm like, listen, you're going to have to figure this out either one way or the other. You're in a situation where you're going to have to figure that marriage life out right now, because when you move on, there's things that's going to carry on that you didn't figure out now that you're going to have to figure out then too. So that's something that I actually like to tell people, man. Either way, you're going to have to give them that opportunity just to see what happens. You don't know.
You got to figure it out in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Really, and honestly, in most cases, whatever somebody's doing, most cases, not all, you're not happy when you go to your 9 to 5. That's why I typically chose Monday, not because it's an M and it follows my initials, but because Monday is known as the day with the highest heart attack rates. And what it is, I wanted to own that day. I heard Gary Vee said, I love Mondays. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take that same thing. I'm going to take that same energy and make it my own. Instead of us dreading to go to work on a Monday or go do whatever on a Monday, because we typically let everything just fall to the wayside on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
I said, let me go ahead and attack the hardest day of the week. And if you notice, it's strategically set up how we got our Motivational 3. Shout out to Lloyd again and his book, Open 80, and everything that he has going on. That's our brother. I have Monday, which, as I just stated, the stats that comes with that. Then you have Wednesday, hump day. Hump day is the middle part of the week. Oh, man, all right, we're close to the weekend.
Yeah.
And then typically people feel like Friday, all right, I'm going to just let everything go. So that's when you have Lady Simone, a Lady's Touch, that's actually wrapping up everything that we said in a nutshell, but then also giving it to you in a way to let you know, don't just stop what you're doing on Saturday. This thing got to keep going on.
Yeah.
Duke Energy or whatever your electrical company is, they not understand, you don't get free electricity on the weekend. Yeah. So why should you stop working?
Yeah, and I think, people have to realize, don't put meaning to your days. You know what I'm saying? Don't just say, oh, it's Monday, so You know what I'm saying? You let, every day have a certain meaning to you. You're in control, and you have to understand that. Because when you realize that you are in control, everything starts falling into place. You have to take the control back from the idea of, oh, it's Monday. You have to take and even I will say this, because a lot of times everybody's not in position to leave their job, or everybody's not in position to leave a bad situation that they're in right now. So let's be honest, because we can talk so much about, oh, you should leave, or oh, you should do this. Everybody is not in position right now to do these things, but I would say each day you build yourself up and you talk to yourself and you put something into yourself that's going to lead to that release of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's important.
It's a mental thing. You want to actually start working on your mental, and then honestly, something that's, and me and the gentleman, my man Tree, what's going on, Tree, at A1 Advanced Grooming, we was just talking yesterday. We put so much emphasis on money, but we actually disregard the stuff that's really important. Granted, we need money to live. We're not going to just,
Yeah.
But nonetheless, health is important. All that money and cars and houses that you got, if your medical bills or your monthly medicine is crazy, is the price of a car note. We got to start taking care of the small things, which is our health, our mental space, our family.
I think that's finding peace. You have to get to a level of peace. And I remember being in a situation, and being in that situation, I kept telling myself every day, like, this is what I was going to do. There were a lot of people who didn't believe that, okay, yeah, Courtney is actually going to do this. But I was telling myself this constantly, because I'm going to tell you, whenever you step out to do something that's against the norm and against what other people feel that you should do, you're going to have people who are going to say, nah, I don't believe this, or no, this right here. I speak with someone on a daily that tell me, you know what, I'm leaving at this certain date. And she was like, a lot of people tell me, no, you're not going nowhere, you're not going nowhere. And she was like, listen, I know that I'm going. And one thing that I know that is very important that person do, they talk to themselves and they say, this is what I'm going to do.
You got to speak things into existence.
You have to speak, and you have to speak life. Even when you're in a bad situation, like I say, not everybody can leave. And I know a lot of people who are in situations and they feel like just throwing it all in and giving up. When you're in that bad situation, sometimes you're the only light that's in that situation. You have to still,
and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay standing by yourself.
Yes,
looking
you have
around
to.
while people are laughing at you.
Yes.
While lights might be getting cut off temporarily, or cars are getting repoed, or whatever the case might be. And like I said, and on the journey of this, right? Because we're still in it. I promise y'all, we're still in it.
Oh yeah.
We're no different than y'all. I promise you.
Absolutely.
We're but nonetheless, you still gotta go. You just gotta dedicate that time and understand, like disregard.
But when
all
you
that
realize, and you say, we're still in it, I appreciate everything. Right now it's so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
But right now is because we started out at a kitchen table, huddled up over an iPad, and not even this iPad. This is a new iPad. So we had an older iPad, and we huddled up over it. We didn't have microphones. We didn't have a tablecloth. We huddled up over our kitchen table after we got finished eating, sent the kids in the room, and we actually, this right here, and we went through a series of different things. Granted, we moved pretty quickly, I guess some would say, in a year's time, even to be nominated for Podcast of the Year.
Yeah.
We moved pretty quickly, but I promise y'all didn't even see, and it's not for y'all to see unless we decide to share it with y'all, the ups and downs, the emotional ups and downs, the roller coasters, but you still gotta stick with, if this is what, a little shameless plug to my man John Oglesby, if this is the tools that God gave you, you need to find out what your tools are.
Oh, yeah,
I realize
absolutely.
what mine is. Mine is my voice. It's me talking. That's my tool.
Because who would have thought, we sit back and we talk about this all the time, and I'm going to just say this. Who would have thought that we would be here speaking to people? Because we always have, it is so crazy. We always have conversations, and you can ask people who used to come to our house and just sit down and just talk to us. And I remember talking to my sister. I'm like, man, sis, this is crazy. Like, I'll be at work or I'll be somewhere, and I'm just connecting with people and just talking and trying to speak life out. People may be speaking life into me, or I'm just speaking. I'm like, I don't even think I'm qualified to do this thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's why, again, when we said, when this stuff comes out, in some cases, we don't even know where it comes from.
Yes, it's like God was already preparing you for that journey, man.
Your table's already set.
It's already.
Sit down.
Oh, and just like I said on Motivational 3, if you have not checked that out, just like I said, your feet are already in places that you have not yet entered. And I believe that so much. When I heard that, I was just like, whoa, because it took me to a place to where we sat back and we're thinking and we're talking, and just like, when I looked up the poem, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I wrote this in like 2 years ago, and here we are. Those are the things that, you know, you have already been somewhere, or you're about to go somewhere that you don't even realize that God was already preparing you for. And I get so excited and so passionate about it because it's overwhelming.
Like y'all don't understand. Like, this is our first time shooting from our new location, right?
Yes.
So while we were setting all this stuff up, right, Lady Simone said, "Yo, Mo, take a picture of me." And I looked at it, I'm like, do you see? And it's not for bragging purposes. If y'all know us, I don't even know why I gotta say this disclaimer, but for the people that's listening, this is not for bragging purposes. Hashtag motivation. That's what this is right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, we started off with an iPad. We didn't have logos, like we had to pay for these logos. No, we didn't have t-shirts. We didn't have a table drop. We didn't have mugs. I mean, we have, what are these joints called? Pop sockets? We didn't have any of this right here. We literally had to rob Peter to pay Paul and borrow from John. You know what I'm saying? Just to step out there. Like,
but then we will say too, with stepping out on a vision, because I want you to understand and realize this, because a lot of times we feel like, well, I still don't have that. How they saying, okay, we're going to rob Peter to pay Paul? I'm going to tell you something. When you're robbing Peter to pay Paul to do something that's destined for your life and that you feel that He's always in control. It's in control. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you believe in, I believe in God.
Whoever you submit
to. Whoever it is, I feel like the table is already set. Like I say, your feet is already there. He's just waiting for you to actually move forward and move in that direction so that you can get what you're supposed to get. You know, it's already destined for us.
And I'm going to tell you, and when you're walking in what it is that you're supposed to be doing, things will move out your way. The universe works that way. I'm going to tell you what happened. And I don't know if he wants to even say this, but forgive me, my man. Forgive me, Brad. I was sitting at home on a Saturday, and Brad Keaton, he was on a podcast before, Caucasian gentleman with the red beard that actually sings R&B. This is actually him in the background right here, one of Lady Simone's favorite songs now.
The whole CD is just
moving on.
Great.
But Brad called me, right, and you know he was marketing and promoting for his upcoming album, Move On, which released Friday. Y'all check that out, please. Brad Keaton. And he was like, yo, Mo, I saw that you donated, to my cause. I want to say thank you. I said, no problem. He said, but something came to me, and I wanted to invite you and your podcast to my private album listening party. If I'm not mistaken, a private listening party was another package that we chose, that we did not choose. Because, of course, while we're doing our thing, we got to be mindful of every dollar that go out, right? And I think that package was way beyond our comfort zone at that point in time. So he said, I want to bless you. I want y'all there. I said, huh? He said, not only do I want y'all there, I want you to bring the Mo Pies too.
Yeah.
And that right there, it was another sign that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and the fact of the matter that people are watching you.
Yes.
We don't see the impact that we may have on the people out, because this is what we do. This is literally what we do every day. We just decided to hit record right there and put it out. This is what I do this at work. Lady Simone do this from home. I do this in the car. If you would have passed me in traffic, which is a white Expedition with Mo Nose on the back and a personalized license tag, you'll probably see me on the phone. And this is just what we do, and we just decided to put it out. So when Brad gave us that call, and we met the people that we met down there, it was beautiful. Like, it was so overwhelming. Literally the next day, I got another phone call for somebody wanting me to do a voiceover. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I literally, in those 2 or 3 weeks, we was trying to figure a few different things out. Because we got a lot of things going on. If we could actually turn this camera around and show y'all our vision board, which we won't, you'll see that we have a lot of things going on. So y'all just stay tuned with that right there. But in a nutshell, things will work itself out if you're doing what it is you're supposed to do. You cannot go on Instagram or
humble.
You gotta stay humble.
You have to stay humble.
You gotta walk light so they don't piss the ground off.
And one thing that I would like to tell people too, you're gonna give out way more than you get back, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to be okay with. You know that you have to be okay with knowing that more of yourself will be distributed than actually coming back to you.
And actually help. I mean, like
and
you said,
okay.
distributing yourself. That's all aspects. That's finances. That's your time.
Yeah. But as long, and you got to do it from here, because I'm gonna tell you something. If you're not doing it from your heart, it don't matter. It don't mean anything. There's a lot of things that have been done, and I'm like, somebody will come up and say, "Oh, you remember you?" I'm like, no, I really don't, because when it's done from the heart, you don't sit there and repeat it. You don't sit there and tell somebody, "Oh, you remember I did this for you," or this right here. So just be humble and just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing it from your heart. And I promise you, everything will work out. And I tell people that all the time, because one person looked at me like I was crazy. They were talking to me one time, and I was like, yo, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I promise you, everything is going to be okay. And this person was like, and I'm like, I promise you. And some weeks later, it's like, yo, it worked out.
And you will have to be in a place of being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you're not going to grow from a place of comfort.
Oh.
So you're going to have to be okay. I promise you, we can give y'all some stories just as of recently, as far as this space is concerned. This space right here was a blessing.
And I think a lot of the times, just like D.L. Hughley said in an interview that he did, when you're uncomfortable, that's when a whole bunch of things start to happen.
Absolutely.
When you get out your comfort zone, that's when things begin to happen. So it's the same thing as Steve Harvey said before. When you take that leap, and I didn't understand what it meant to take that leap, because, it's so easy for somebody to motivate us and tell us, oh, you should do this, you should do this.
When they're rich already.
Yes, or when they're in that position that you want to be in, you're like, okay, yeah. But I'm telling you, if you just take that first step and whatever it is, you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to just do this today. It's on my heart. This is what I'm going to do. I promise you, doors will begin to open. And I told Mo this. I said, things would not begin to move until I remove myself, because I knew it was just like something that I just knew.
And then honestly, it's not going to make sense.
It's not. Oh,
and then like Lady Simone says, when it doesn't make sense, that's when you know a higher power is involved.
Yes.
Again, whoever it is that you submit to, that's when you know a higher power is involved. When you start figuring like, yo, how did that happen? I have no idea. Of course you don't, because then man would be involved.
Yeah,
and you can't put no faith in man.
And I always say, all the glory goes to God when He's, and that's the ultimate end goal. It's not me.
No, it's not. No, our life is not ours.
So.
Our life is not ours. So,
it's not about us.
Like I said, we've been gone. We just wanted to give y'all something. I have a few different things that I need to actually put out there as well. In the midst of us being, I guess you would say, absent, right? But we were still working, I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
I am now the,
here we go.
I'm the casting director.
I'm going to give him a shout.
I'm the casting director for the movie Tools, which is written and created by John Oglesby, my man, Tony.
Yes.
Tony, I'm sorry, Tony, I messed up your last name. But my man, Tony, this is an independent film, a feature film, and it's independent as well, that's being shot here in the upstate.
Yes.
And Mr. John Oglesby, Mr. Tony felt that I'll be a good fit for the casting director, so I've actually been putting people in positions. Again, ultimately what I love doing, helping people in a nutshell. So we've been doing that right there, so y'all please stay tuned to the Tools Project, subscribe to on their Facebook, on their Instagram. You can actually also follow me, because I have all that information on there as well. So thank you for everybody that has been a part of it thus far. We're still looking for roles to be filled, supporting roles. We have all our main characters already, and again, shout out to them. Shout out to Mr. John Oglesby for giving me an opportunity. And this is going to be a big film. We got a director extraordinaire, the Upstate Samantha Lee. He's actually, I guess you would say, video recording it. He's actually shooting it.
Yeah.
And something else I want to say, shout out to Mr.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me plug this. I wanted to just say that I'm proud of you on that, because I see day in and day out that you're actually giving this your all, and to come from a position of just wanting to just genuinely help people and genuinely just be like, when the offer was thrown at you, you're just like, yo, what you think? Like, I'm gonna do it. And to see the passion and to see the lives that I really believe that are going to be changed through this movie, and I just want to say I'm very proud of you on that. So keep moving, and I'm proud of the cast. I'm proud of John and everybody who's involved. So yes. But
also, we like to thank Mr. Brad Keaton again for that invite to the album listening party. It was great. Y'all check out his album. It's called Full Circle. It came out Friday. It's on all streaming platforms. But also, y'all go ahead and purchase it as well. Check him out, Brad Keaton, on Facebook.
Brad Keaton Music.
Well, it's both. He has two pages, Brad Keaton and Brad Keaton Music. I believe you can find both the information. But subscribe to both. Why not, right? And I'd like to thank him again. We actually played his entire album. throughout the duration of this right here podcast. So y'all definitely check that out. My favorite song on there is probably The Chase, and I think Lady Simone just Move On.
Yeah, Chase. I don't know. Oh man. That was my riding music when we went down home, and I'm telling you, you just will vibe. It's good music, music, and you'll just vibe the whole entire time. So you won't be disappointed.
And also, y'all check out our weekly playlist that we partnered up with Quinton Greer.
Shout out to you.
Trifling. That's an inside joke. Y'all soon get a glimpse of what hashtag Trifling is all about when it comes down to Quinton Greer. But we like to thank him as well because we do release. It's been a year a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and he's a very big part of the podcast, and I would like to say too, thank you so much for.
He doesn't like to. He's one of those behind the scenes guys.
But it's one of the things to where you don't find people who are willing to pour into your vision, into your dream, and just help genuinely. Again, you know what I'm saying? And he has been such a great part of the podcast, and I mean, just he always show love, and that's something that's very important. He even did a 3 for 3 with us. So
he did a 3 for 3, and he'll be coming back here as well. Because again, he has his own clothing line, 19 Below Zero. He's all over the upstate. Check him out. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And he also has a female line as well, Pretty Above All. If y'all see me running around with a blue hat on, that's his hat. With a brown bear named Queen with a ballet fit on. So again, thank you, Quinton Greer, for that right there. Y'all don't understand how much we argue and go back and forth, but that's my brother.
That's a whole other story. Keep going. We're not even gonna start. Oh my goodness.
Also, what else I have on here? Well, Lady Simone, you actually you have your book posted up over there. So what's going on with the book?
Hope Jones, everybody. Hope Jones. I cannot say it enough. I'm not even gonna say a whole lot about it. If you guys have supported, I appreciate it. I have it's on Amazon. You can go to Amazon.com, look it up. Hope Jones, Courtney Morrison. I'm telling you guys, like I said, and I say it all the time. Everybody may not understand your vision. Everybody may not understand your dream or your story. But I promise, I said this, I was like, if you read Hope Jones, I promise you there's something that you're going to get from it. You may not like it, but you're going to get something from it. And I stand on that 110%. So if you guys, just want a good read, it's a short read, it's an easy read, it's nothing complicated, just check out Hope Jones, and it's even a read for your kids, because I believe that there's something in there, because at the point where Hope is now, she went through a lot of stuff at an early age, and that age is where a lot of younger kids is going through things now, So I always say, because I remember I had someone, and I'm going to say this, and this is be it about it. I had a lady that said, she thought about it, and she's like, man, I should be talking to my daughter about some things that you mentioned in the book. And I'm just like, and even vice versa, her daughter can actually look at the book or read the book and gain something from it. So it's so crazy how it's so versatile. The message can be for the old generation or young generation. So just if you have not checked out Hope Jones, check it out. Like I said, it's on Amazon, or you can hit me up. I have a couple of copies left, actual physical copies. Not much in the physical, but I do have some. But most important, you can order on Amazon. If you have Prime, it's 2 days. So.
And what are they going for?
They're $15 per book. So.
All right, no problem. We do appreciate that.
Yes.
We actually also have Pop Sagas for sale. We just posted that yesterday. Those are going for $5 a piece. We have them in a black colorway as well as the white. We'd like to say thank you in advance, and we appreciate the support. I will be releasing my comic strip. It's a whole new rollout. It's a whole new. Trust me, y'all. This is going to be a big thing right here, and we got a lot of announcements coming soon. But it's best just to work in silence and just get it done. And because honestly, the announcement is not really important. People want the physical.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson that I learned as well. So we're not going to keep y'all up. We appreciate y'all time. We are back again. We was not working. We was working behind the scenes, baby.
Absolutely.
But next week we got activist Pastor Johnson, Curtis Johnson.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I said Johnson because that's what we call him. But we have activist and pastor, and amongst other different hats that he wears, Pastor Curtis Johnson will be on the With All Due Respect podcast next week. So we do appreciate your time. Lady Simone, you have any closing thoughts?
Thank you guys. As always, check out Mo for your Mo's Monday Moment, Lord for your Wednesday Wow, and me for your Fresh Friday inspiration. And please, I wanted to plug this too. please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, please, please. That is very important to us.
What's going on, y'all? This is your main man, Mo. 1/3 of the With All Due Respect podcast. And I've been seeing more and more guys who aren't taking their grooming responsibilities seriously out here. With these unfortunate fades, these radical razor bumps, and my personal favorite, subjective shape-ups. I can understand trying to save $1, but there's some things you just can't afford to cut corners on. But I have a solution, fellas. A1 Advanced Grooming. A1 Advanced Grooming is your one-stop shop for hair and skin appropriation. A1 Advanced Grooming is owned and operated by Tristan Jackson, who offers an array of different things such as a beard luster wash, thermal scrub, and Alaskan mask facial, just to name a few. So go ahead and book your next appointment with Mr. A1 Cuts at Style Cease. Also check him out on Facebook under Tristan Jackson, as well as on IG as Mr. A1 Cuts. You'll thank me later. It's your main man, Mo. So nonetheless, thank you, Mr. Brad Keeper, for supplying us with this music throughout our podcast. I'm your main man, Mo. Right? We are the With All Due Respect podcast. Until next time, be easy. Word to Lord.
Stop playing, man.
What's going on, y'all? This is your main man, Mo. 1/3 of the With All Due Respect podcast. And I got a confession. y'all. For those who don't know, I got a major sweet tooth. There it is. I laid it at the altar. I got a major sweet tooth, y'all. I'm not talking about no peanut M&Ms and no Jolly Ranchers and no lemon heads. I like cakes. I'll tell you how bad it got. Heavenly Father, help me with this story. I went a whole month ordering cakes from Publix. A whole month. Every week I ordered an 8-inch round cake with a different name on it, as if I was going to a different birthday party every week and I was in charge of the cakes. Till my homeboy pulled me off to the side and said, Mo, you got a problem. But nonetheless, if you're going to do this cake thing, I need you to get a real cake. Those are frozen cakes. I was shocked. I was floored. I was hurt. I was appalled. But what happened was he introduced me to my homegirl, Portia Wright, a Sweet Peas Cakery. Let me tell you about Miss Portia. Miss Portia studied baking, and pastries at Johnson & Wells. Not only did she study and graduate, she also worked with the Carolina Panthers as the in-house baker. So right now, Miss Portia's out here doing her own thing, again with Sweet Peas Cakery. So y'all go check out Miss Portia. Let her know your man Mo sent you, alright? With all due respect, of course. Have yourself a good day.